Charlotte Hayes was a name people spoke with admiration, envy, and sometimes fear. At 32, she wasn't just a CEO, she was a symbol. The face of Hayes Technologies, a multi-billion-dollar company, Charlotte was known for her ruthless business mind and flawless public image. Magazines praised her elegance, media followed her every step, and business partners silently envied her success. But Charlotte's personal life was a quiet, empty room. Her parents had died in a car accident when she was 19. Since then, she had buried herself in work, building a company to escape the loneliness she never admitted. In boardrooms, she was fierce. In private, she was alone. At the entrance of her company's headquarters worked a young security guard named Ryan Collins. 28, tall and kind-eyed, Ryan had none of Charlotte's wealth or status. He lived in a modest apartment with his ill mother and teenage sister, Emma. Life had thrown challenges at him early. His father's sudden death had forced him to quit college and work odd jobs to support his family. But Ryan was not bitter. He had a calm, patient soul and a smile that didn't cost anything, no matter how hard his days were. For over a year, Charlotte and Ryan crossed paths daily. A nod, a polite smile. She barely noticed him, he was just another employee in the background of her fast-paced world. That changed one rainy evening. A violent storm had gripped the city. Charlotte had stayed late, buried in a merger deal that would expand her company overseas. As she stepped out of the glass doors into the cold, wet night, her driver called to say he was stuck in traffic. Frustrated, she looked up at the pouring sky. That's when Ryan appeared, holding an umbrella, shielding her from the rain. "You'll get drenched, ma'am," he said gently. Surprised by the unexpected kindness, Charlotte took a moment to really look at him, not as an employee, but as a person. His face held no fear, no pretension, just quiet sincerity. "Thank you, Ryan, right?" "Yes, ma'am." She took the umbrella, and for the first time in a long while, someone did something for her without expecting anything in return. The next morning, Charlotte returned the umbrella herself. It would have been easy to ask her assistant, but something in her wanted to see him again. They exchanged a few words about the storm, nothing much, but it felt different. After that day, small conversations became routine. A casual good morning, a comment about a book he was reading. Ryan introduced her to poetry, something Charlotte hadn't read since college. He spoke about his favorite old movies, his love for stargazing, and how his mother taught him to cook. Charlotte began waiting for those moments. She felt lighter around him, free from the expectations that followed her everywhere else. With Ryan, she wasn't a CEO or a billionaire, she was just Charlotte. But the world around them was watching. Whispers started in the office. Why does the CEO talk to a guard? Is something going on between them? It's bad for her image. Her board of directors grew uneasy. At a high-level meeting, one senior executive, Mr. Graves, politely suggested she should be mindful of public perception. Friends at elite parties teased her about her new hobby. Social media began speculating. Some articles even titled it, "The Rich Lady and the Security Guard." The pressure mounted, but Charlotte refused to distance herself. She tried to ignore the comments, but they hurt. Her carefully built world was suddenly hostile towards something genuine and innocent. One evening, after a long, exhausting day filled with business meetings and harsh headlines, Charlotte called Ryan. "Would you like to have coffee with me?" she asked hesitantly. They met at a small, old cafe by the riverside, a place Ryan loved for its peacefulness. No cameras, no luxury cars, just two people talking. As they sat across each other, Charlotte nervously asked, "Does it bother you what people are saying about us?" Ryan smiled softly. "I've lived most of my life hearing what people think. I don't care about them, Charlotte. I care about what's real. And you're the most real thing I've ever met." In that moment, Charlotte felt a warmth she hadn't known in years. She realized she had spent so long guarding herself that she'd forgotten what it was like to be truly seen. But it wasn't over. The next day, tabloids caught wind of their cafe meeting. Photos surfaced online. The headlines were cruel. Billionaire CEO's scandalous romance with security guard. Charlotte Hayes loses focus as business partners worry. Investors panicked. The company's shares dipped slightly. Mr. Graves and 2 board members visited her office. With all due respect, Charlotte, Mr. Graves said, "You're risking your reputation for a man who doesn't belong in your world." Charlotte stared at them, a mix of anger and exhaustion in her eyes. "You're wrong," she said quietly. "He belongs in my world because he reminds me what it means to be human. Something this company seems to have forgotten." That evening, Charlotte made a decision. She held a press conference. The room was packed with reporters expecting a cold denial or an excuse. Instead, Charlotte spoke calmly. "I've built a company, a name, and a career I'm proud of. But none of it means anything if I have to hide who I am. I won't apologize for caring about someone kind, honest, and brave enough to stand by me when others only see my bank balance." The room fell silent. It wasn't an easy road after that. Some investors pulled out. Certain circles stopped inviting her. But something else happened too. People admired her courage. Many employees felt inspired. Strangers sent messages of support. Ryan remained the same, calm, humble, and quietly strong. Their bond only grew stronger. He didn't try to change her world. He just stayed in it, steady and sincere. And for Charlotte Hayes, in a world of fake smiles and shallow relationships, that was the rarest kind of love.